You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Week in Review. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast. I'm Steve McShane.
And I'm Fitz.
And we're here to bring you everything that happened this week, and then probably a little bit more. Maybe even more than you ever wanted.
Most likely way more than you ever wanted.
Are we too much for listeners?
I think we're too much for some listeners. And I don't have any direct evidence of that. I just feel like, actually, I can feel it when it's happening. I can feel when one of us goes off, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen again. I'll guarantee it's going to happen again, but one of us is going off on something because, you know, the state of the world right now. And I can just see people going, oh God, here Fitz goes again. Oh, there goes McShane. They're railing against something. I think we're too much sometimes, but I also think that, like we were talking about last week, people can pause us, go do something happy and go lucky and fluffy, and then come back and let us finish our rant, or they can just, you know, tune out completely and go listen to a nicer, more kindly hearted podcast.
Well, I think I agree with you. First of all, I think that truly is, for me, the American way. You have the ability to not listen. I'm not suggesting people shouldn't listen, but if you need to go ahead and fast forward through some of our parts, definitely you can go ahead and do that. Like, somebody might tune in just to hear your beer reviews. I mean, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Somebody may just go ahead and listen to hear me talk, like my voice. Did you know that I had a supervisor that I work with call me the other day just to listen to me talk?
Really?
Yeah, it was a little awkward because I actually approach, because we're team chatting, right? So we've got a headset on and we're talking directly to everybody else. And for whatever reason, I use the same voice, whether I'm on in Teams at work or I'm on here. So they're getting the exact same thing that listeners are getting now.
Right.
So I don't know if that was a hostile work environment or not. I kind of liked it. I mean,
if you wanted to, you could definitely, you know, go for a harassment charge there. But yeah, any attention like that is always a nice thing. I think. Yeah. Yeah. Well, just to back up what you're saying, my mom thinks you have a great broadcast voice. She's commented on it a few times. So there's more than one person out there that's liking your voice. I think I'm like everybody. I hate the sound of my voice. I really do. I go back and listen to our podcast, and I just don't like it. But I'm getting more and more used to it, and I'm finding things that I do that I really don't like. I'm trying to do less. You know, it's just like anything. More and more practice. We're getting better at this, but I hear you talking, and I'm like, man, it sounds so good. And then I hear me talk, and I'm like, dude, just shut up. Just let McShane run the show, man, because you're annoying. And if any of our listeners out there feel the same way, hit me up, because I hope it's not just me that feels that badly about my voice. Although I have been told that some people like my voice too. So I don't know. Who knows? We're here to talk, and part of talking is just having a voice that is what it is. You know, Howard Stern deepened his voice. He has a regulator that he electronically deepens his voice when he broadcasts.
See, that's
And
kind of cheating.
yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do it. I mean, what you hear is what you get. I'm not going to get into all of that, but
Yeah.
but he hated his voice so much he had to deepen it up. And I'm not that neurotic. Like, he's certifiably insane. So but I still just don't love it.
Yeah, I've never tried to do that before. I've never felt the need to, so that's all right. Well, anyway,
Yeah, as usual, we are off track and up and running.
that's how we do it. This week it was
Yep.
was a difficult week. I mean, personally, it was a good week, but trying to sift through the news, it was a difficult week. So many times I just closed any app that I was looking at any news in, and I just shut it down. And our we still have a good show ahead for you. We've got a game that the U.S. Department of State put out that you found, which is going to be a fascinating conversation. Elon did some shit. We've got election politics. We've got Starbucks millennial crying. It's going to be fantastic. But it was a really difficult week from the news standpoint because I couldn't care a whole lot about a lot.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I feel like some big stuff happened ahead of our election coming up on Tuesday. We had Brazil's election came up, and then Israel, of course, had their election for president. Both of those countries did, and they're two pretty major players. You don't hear a lot about Brazil, but they are the B in BRICS, and so they're a world player, and they've both of those countries just had a major shift change in who their leadership's going to be. Interestingly enough, they both brought back old presidents, and
and we can't leave out England. I think we talked about this. Sunak is back, and he
right.
was the number 2 under Johnson.
Right.
So they even
and
had
he
a
is yep, and he is a WEF proud member. So yeah, lots of. So anyway, to your point, I think some big things happened, and I was with you, man. It was hard to give a shit. It was hard to latch on to anything and say, wow, okay, yeah, this is important enough for us to really deep dive into. I guess that's what it was. There was nothing where I felt like we needed to go deeper, other than this game that we're going to talk about. I felt like we needed to go deeper on that, and this whole Paul Pelosi thing is really weird. So we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But other than that, there really just wasn't much that we could sink our teeth into. Although now that we're here, we're going to get our beers going. Who knows where the show's going to go? We never do, which is part of the brilliance of the show. It's part of one of the things that I really love. So,
all right. Well, with that, what are you drinking?
okay. Well, I am going with a Boulevard Brewing, solid brewery. I forget where Boulevard's out of. I don't.
They're
anywhere.
They're Brooklyn, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say it's nowhere near. Oh no, Kansas City, Missouri. That's where they're out of. Anyway, so this one's called More S'more, as in s'mores, as in graham crackers, marshmallows, and chocolate. So, but really, it's a really simple label. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm getting into here, but it is an imperial stout. It's an 11.7%er. So, I'm starting the show with a heavy hitter here. So let's see what we got. Let's see.
Big fan of Boulevard. Really good dark stuff.
Oof. Wow. Man. That okay. So here's what we got. You remember that first shot of whiskey you ever had? Can you think back to that?
Yep.
And where you thought you were going to die? There's like a moment where it hits the back of your throat, and you just think, all right, this is how it ends for me. That's a little bit what I'm getting here on this. It really, smacks you in the face. The graham cracker, it's like a burnt graham cracker flavor, hits you right like a toasted marshmallow, I guess. Toasted marshmallow and graham cracker just smack you right across the face. And it's, I'm gonna say, it's not real pleasant. I felt like I was about to, like, cough or choke or something.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it was just my first sip and it surprised me. It's the first drink I've had in a couple of days, actually. So maybe that's it too. I'm just shaking off the rust. I don't know. Nope. That's not a pleasurable beer. No.
That's not it.
Nope.
So it's just too burnt then, right? I mean, that's
too much.
the crux of it.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's exactly. It's just too much. I guess, like they say, too much of anything will kill you. This too much burnt flavoring killed this beer. It's too toasty. It's that toasted coconut marshmallow that they just killed it with it. They basically turn the heat up too high, which generally is just not a thing for me, but it is tonight. So, what do you got? What are you drinking? Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of stopping in to Sleepy Whale, another one of my beer places here in the east side of Phoenix. And I was extremely happy when I saw that they actually had Jester King. I have a hell of a time trying to say that word.
Oh, yeah.
I have never had a Jester King before. I have always wanted to have a Jester King. The one that I have today is actually going to be Sing-Along Deathmatch. This is a farmhouse ale. They do farmhouses really well. All their beers are really, really good, and they're very rare. We're hard to find beers out here.
Yeah.
In fact, they don't brew a ton of what they do brew, so you pretty much, it's one of those places that you'll stand in line for. But they're out of Texas, and this is a really fun. Let me see if I can read it here. We've got, well, that's okay. Doesn't matter. Ale brewed with rosemary, smoked honey, and Mexican plums. So let me take a drink.
Mexican plums.
It's a nice farmhouse. It's a really nice farmhouse. Farmhouse beers, yeah. So there's two way of farmhouse. First of all, farmhouse beer. It's going to be one that's it's kind of a French or Belgium beer. When they say farmhouse, they mean this is a beer that you'd have. The kids would even come in and have when they're working on the farm. They'd come in. It's a low ABV, like a 5% or 4%, depending on what you got. This one's a 5.5, but it's a very subtle beer. It's a quencher, but it's a complex beer typically.
Yeah.
And if it's not done well, it's overpowering. This is subtle.
It can suck.
Yeah. And it can suck hard too. This does not. You don't get a lot of this. You get a little bit of smoke, a little bit of rosemary. The honey kind of cuts the harshness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a fruity. That's nice. A fruity taste to it that just kind of gives it a little bit more texture, and it's a gorgeous beer too.
Yeah, those farmhouse ales, I totally agree with you. For those of our listeners out there, because I know there's a few that are still sort of they love what we talk about on the show, but they still really haven't jumped into the deep end as far as craft beer goes. If you're talking about an imperial stout, generally those are like the low notes, dark, heavier flavors. The alcohol it's just a heavier, the mouthfeel is heavier, more viscous. Farmhouse is kind of on the other end of that scale, much more lighter notes, a cleaner finish. And like exactly what McShane said, hit it right on the head. They're refreshing beers. They're kind of beers that you would want to have after a hot day of working out on the farm. So, we're literally drinking polar opposites of beers here on these first ones, and it's kind of cool. And it's odd that I don't like mine But I'm really glad that you're enjoying yours.
I like it, and again, it's one of those ones that it's either you're gonna like it or you're not.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, you're thinking it's an IPA. It's a little hazy. It's got that yellow color to it. So if you're not used to those, like if this is rookie first time out farmhouse. I can't talk tonight apparently. If you're looking at a farmhouse, get a sipper of it first and make sure you like it, because you're going to end up getting, a good 10, 12 ounces of it, and you might not dig it. Yeah. So, but I definitely suggest trying it for sure.
Yeah, that's a great call. I'm still trying to figure out, I'm not sure that I'm familiar with a Mexican plum. I don't know what makes that different from, because there's, yellow plums, there's purple plums, and I'm not sure where the Mexican plums fall on that scale. Not that color matters. It doesn't. We're not racist here on the show. But I don't know. I don't know what a Mexican plum is. I guess I could, I got the whole world at my fingertips. I can look it up.
Well, it's a non-suckering tree, so that's important to know.
Excuse me?
It's a non-suckering tree. I just realized I'm showing you the absolute wrong tree, or the wrong screen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see anything that you're looking at.
So here's the Mexican plum.
Okay, looks very similar to my plum tree. Looks like they are purple fruit. Yep. All right.
And let's see here. As far as taste goes, the taste of the fruit is inconsistent, ranging from a traditional sweet plum taste expected from grocery store plums or other small cherry plums to a bitter, unpleasant fruit. The color may not be an accurate indicator, and some trees will produce more bitter fruits than others. So it sounds like it typically sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it might. You see that picture there, the one with all the blossoms on it, that plum tree there? That's how our tree looked this year. Actually, last year too. In fact, 2 years in a row now, this tree is so prolific and produces so many plums. Number one, I can't pick them off the tree fast enough. Number two, I can't give away enough plums. And they are so juicy, so delicious. I wish I could ship them down to you, because I know you'd love them. But the tree actually gets so heavy with fruit, it has broken itself in half twice now.
Wow.
And we've healed it up. It heals over the winter, and then we get so much. So this coming spring, I'm gonna let the flowers bloom, but then I'm just gonna have to, as the little fruits are coming in, I'm gonna have to pick them off early, because it's just the tree's gonna kill itself. But I mean, that white tree down there, it looks like the whole thing got covered in snow. That's how many blossoms we had. It's just crazy. It's a beautiful tree, but it's got to be put under control.
Trees are weird. I got to tell you something else about. When we were putting in our pool in the backyard, that's a never-ending saga, and you know all about that. So It's a fucking shit show. But we had to get rid of a lemon tree that it was full of lemons, and they were amazing. Yeah. They were actually a very sweet lemon, because it got pollen from an orange tree, and we had Arizona sweets back there. So I was getting a very sweet lemon that you could almost go ahead and squeeze it right into, a glass and just drink it straight. It was fantastic. I had another lemon tree on the other side of the yard. That lemon tree would not bear fruit for the longest time. As soon as I got rid of the tree over on the right-hand side, because I had to pull it out because of the digging that had to happen, which was gut-wrenching, the tree on the other side of the yard started bearing fruit.
Isn't that something?
Nature finds a way. It was so fucking cool.
That's so cool. That's a great story. And as they are finding more and more out about how, trees communicate with one another through the fungus that's in the soil. It's a fascinating thing that we have going on here. I mean, so they've literally now said, okay, actually what we thought was the largest organism on the planet is tiny, minuscule compared to the largest organism on the planet, which is an entire forest, because all of the trees are basically one.
Yep.
And they talk and communicate daily, which is just cool. So anyway, That could be a whole show in itself where we just talk about the fascinating world of trees. But that's not why our listeners tuned in tonight. You all tuned in to hear about our take on the craziness that is the news.
That's true. Well, let's go ahead and get to our first break, and we'll come back and get after it, okay?
Awesome.
All right, so this week we had a number of things come up that we do want to get into. We can go into Cat Park first, or do you want to go into the Pelosi saga? Because something dropped recently in the Pelosi saga yesterday, I think, that was kind of telling of just where things are.
Yeah, let's get there because I feel like that'll be a really nice segue into Cat Park and what its whole purpose is.
All right, here is a clip from a NBC Today show clip, actually, that is no more. It's actually been pulled off of the internet because it's poor reporting. Listen to what it's about, though.
It's Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
This morning, Paul Pelosi is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high-priority call, they were seemingly unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police. It's unclear if the 82-year-old was already injured or what his mental state was, say sources. According to court documents, when the officer asked what was going on, defendant smiled and said everything's good. But instantaneously, a struggle ensued as police clearly saw David DePape strike Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. After tackling the suspect, officers rushed to Mr. Pelosi, who was lying in a pool of blood.
What we do know is he brutally attacked Mr. Pelosi and attempted to kill him.
After spending several days in the ICU, Pelosi, who is recovering from a fractured skull and serious injuries to his arm and hand, is now home where Capitol Police remain on alert. Investigators have previously said Pelosi did not know DePape when the 42-year-old broke into his home. Why Pelosi didn't try to flee or tell responding officers he was in distress is unclear.
Fear takes over. Fear freezes people.
This morning, the 82-year-old lucky to be alive after an intruder nearly killed him in his own home.
Law enforcement officials tell us the bottom line here is this was a terrifying situation. We still don't know exactly what unfolded between Mr. Pelosi and the suspect for the 30 minutes they were alone inside that house before police arrived. Officials who were investigating this matter would not go into further details about these new details. Craig, back to you.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, though. He is lucky to be alive. Miguel Almaguer for us. Miguel, thank you.
Now that whole video, that was clip. That was from Benny Johnson, at Benny Johnson on Twitter. You guys can go ahead and find it. It'll be in the show notes. It's all been deleted. It's gone. So because this did not meet their reporting standards.
Then why did they put it on air?
Couldn't
in the
tell
first
you.
place. And there's, first of all, we could go down the list, which we're not going to do because I'm sure most of our listeners, being the intelligent lot that they are, probably already know most of this. So we won't get into all of the details. But one of the things that's most telling to me is that San Francisco PD will not release the body cam footage of the officers who showed up. They won't release it. Now, for anyone else, they would have already released it and been like, yeah, well, there was some kind of gay stuff going on, and we showed up, and then a fight ensued, whatever. And I'm not insinuating that Paul was having a gay affair, although I'm not saying he wasn't. But it is just odd that they're locking all that down. All information's being locked down, and now they're going to the point where they're even redacting reports. This is everything NBC knew up to this point, and they're redacting it. They're saying, no, it was bad. Wasn't up to standard. What
or who is making them redact that?
Exactly.
Why aren't we getting the reports of what happened? And you know what? If it was a lover's quarrel, whatever, it's fine. The issue here is the narrative changed after when the original video went through editorial review. That was a highly processed. You saw the production value.
Oh yeah. Yep.
There was a lot of work done, and now all of a sudden it didn't meet your standards.
Well, and the other thing, I don't know if you caught it, but as we're watching that video and they showed the break-in,
yep,
all the glass lying around was on the outside of the door.
Wasn't that weird?
Very odd. I'm just saying, glass usually breaks the direction that you push it or crack it. And then the other thing is, people aren't stupid, so they went and tracked down this David DePappy, or however you pronounce his name. I don't know. Some people are saying Pappy, some people are saying Pape, whatever. They tracked down David to where, and he's living in a homeless camp, in a like a motorhome, a van.
No, it's a bus. It's
a bus.
White
That's right.
School bus.
It's a bus.
Yeah.
And it's painted with rainbow flags. There are BLM, stickers on the bus. There's all of this and again, I'm not making a judgment. I'm just stating the facts. Very liberal leaning paraphernalia all around him and all of his neighbors. And yet they are trying really hard, and they, meaning the mainstream media, are trying very hard to say that this was a politically motivated hit, that this guy was such a staunch conservative that he thought he could get to Nancy Pelosi, who is, by the way, third in line for the presidency. They thought they could get to her by beating the shit out of her husband, who was also, the other weird thing about this, McShane. Actually, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
It's late at night, right? You're in the house alone, whatever. The kids are doing sleepovers. Your wife is out with the girlfriends. How are you dressed generally in your house when you're by yourself?
So the kids are out of the house, but they're coming home. I'm probably wearing some shorts or something.
Yeah,
maybe a t-shirt. I don't know.
And again, I maybe this is a reach, but most people, I don't think, are walking around the house in just their underwear, because that's been clearly stated by SFPD, is that Paul and this David guy were both in just their underwear. And I'm picturing tidy whities. I don't know why, but when they say they were just in their underwear,
you have to go there.
That's what I picture.
You have to go there.
Is tidy whities with maybe a couple of skid marks in the back, but so that's also odd. I mean, if you weren't doing sex stuff, I don't know why else you would just be in your underwear. I don't know. Just there. So I guess basically what we're saying here is the all of the facts of this are not adding up, and on top of it, it's getting memory hold. It's being buried, and so while this is a developing story for those of us who want to really know what happened, we're definitely not going to get the truth. It's gone. Whatever the truth was, it's gone.
And the reason why we want to know the truth is because we're dealing with something that happened to the Speaker of the House's family.
Mm-hmm.
That should hit home. So there's national security implications there.
Yeah.
There's a national integrity situation. That's a situation there. We haven't even gotten into the part where the Capitol Hill police weren't there like they're supposed to be watching over her house. Where were they?
That's the other thing, is that everybody who's close to the Pelosi says all of their homes not only are they guarded by the Capitol Police, they're heavily guarded by private security too. Of course they would be, as they should be.
One would think. Or
I
did
mean,
Paul say, you know what, take the night off. I'm having my John come over and I don't want you here.
Well, and the other part of all of it is that, of course, the house, in fact, in some of that footage, you can see that there are security cameras. Where's that footage? I'd like to see that. That should be public record at this point. And you touched on it. Let's hit that again. If it's a John, like you say, if this is a gay affair that he's having, the worst any of us would think at this point in this day and age would be, wow, either Nancy's a really, really cool wife and she's like, hey, I get it. You're into some dudes sometime. Go ahead and I don't want to be there. Do it while I'm in DC, but have some dudes over and get your kink on. Or their marriage is on the rocks. But either way, that's the worst that we would say. We wouldn't judge them because he might be gay or bi or whatever. We would just say, oh, maybe their marriage isn't as strong as we thought. That's it. I don't know why you have to now cover it all up, redact stuff, lie, when we really don't give a shit other than those reasons that you just said, that there's national security implications here.
And the fact that now you're covering it up and then they're the ones who are actually making it a big deal because you're not going to go and just own it. All right. He stepped out. It's cool. He's 82. He's going to die soon anyway. Why not go ahead and, hang with some dudes like you like to do? It's fine.
Yeah.
Own it. And you're in San Francisco.
Right.
You
do you, man.
You're in the Democratic Party. It's cool. Just be okay with it.
Don't you think that actually if he would just fess up to it, that would give him and Nancy more street cred? Like people would be like, wow, okay, these are real people.
You would think that she was a real person and not the whack job lizard that everybody thinks she is now.
Yep.
But now, because they made a big deal out of it, because this never really happened. This wasn't, no. This was a hit. Somebody was coming after Nancy, which I still think it pertains to the election that's going on. But anyway, it makes it worse because now you've got us sitting out here going, I want to see the body cam footage because something's up and you're hiding it. Now that you've hit it, because you didn't own it, something that you should have learned when you're 15 and lying for the first time. If you own your shit and move on, you're good to go, usually, unless you're a complete and total asshole. All you got to do is that. But now, I want to see the footage. I want to see the camera. I want to see the security cams. I want to know why the police thought everything was cool, and then he went back in the house and started beating the fuck out of him. I want to know why there's rumors. I want to know why nothing at all makes sense, because it goes back to you're a lying politician. So that's where we are.
Yep. And with that kind of money, if I made, because I think what did we last count? They had made like 21 or 22 million.
Ungodly amounts. Yes.
Yeah. So you're making that kind of money every year. I personally, I would have private security on just hired. Dude. I would have some ex-SEAL who's just maybe a couple cans short of a six-pack who will absolutely go fucking Vietnam on somebody. I'm paying that guy to watch my house between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. and he's going to earn $1 million a year to do it. And
and I'm going to pay him really well to shut up.
Exactly.
Because I'm having my dudes over. That's what drives me freaking crazy.
Speaking of having dudes over, we have a Hefe sighting.
El Jefe.
What's up, dudes?
Hey, dude.
How's it going, Jefe?
Oh, pretty good. How about you?
We're hanging in. Show is off to a smashing stretch so far. We're good.
Yep. We're kicking the tires and lighting the fires. So not as crazy as last weekend, huh?
No, it's actually kind of dead so far, but I'm making a little bit of money, so it's not so bad. But it is not busy, man. I'm telling you.
You know what? I was in the shower the other day, and this is not. That was probably a bad way to start this. I wasn't in the shower thinking of you, although I was in the shower thinking of you. But I had a question for you before we get to our coup de grace here that McShane just pulled up. My question for you is, I imagine, particularly in the shift that you're working, this late night, through to 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes, you've got to see some pretty strange cats come through there, right? I mean, like just some strange looking or strange acting people. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I think when you're on the show, you tell us about the strangest person you've seen tonight, or maybe the strangest person that you've seen this week that you can remember, and like just give us the rundown. What were they wearing? What were they smoking? What were they sticking in their privates? Like what's the weirdest person?
Well, there's this couple that comes in, and they play blackjack, and I had a full table except for one seat, way to my right, seat 6, and so the girl comes, and she's older. They're probably in their 60s, and she sits down, and the waft of weed just hits me like, oh geez, it is what it is, and it's just a smell that I prefer not to have it all over me. You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird smells that I don't know. But anyway, you got to put up with it because it is what it is, right?
Right.
And my pit boss comes over, and he starts typing something into the computer right next to me, and he goes, "Oh my God, did you just go out to the parking lot and smoke?" And she looks at him. She goes, "You can tell." She's like, I have a card though. It's okay. And he's like, I don't care about that. It's a fucking smell. And so I was going to be really polite and quiet about it, but he doesn't give a shit. Right? Yeah. So there's that lady. There's one guy that comes in quite a bit that plays roulette, like high limit roulette. And he has a stuffed shark, a stuffed animal that he carries around with him.
Okay.
Don't know if that's a good luck thing.
That's odd.
Maybe it's his only friend. I don't know.
Okay, he was in there the last time that I was there, and you guys kicked him out, evidently, because he dropped like 18 grand or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that guy. That's one of the ones that sticks in my head.
I feel so lucky that I was there.
You actually have a picture of him when you're taking.
I feel like he needs to be like the show mascot, at least for tonight.
I wish Can I pull people away when they're like really super drunk and they get done? You guys boot them from the tables and tell them to go up to their room, and can I interview them?
I don't see why not.
I mean, I'm just sitting there talking to them, and the recorder's going. It should be some really good Conan stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the cameras are always watching, of course, everywhere. But if they don't know what you're doing or talking about, yeah, I think that'd be legit.
I like it.
Hey, are you guys observing No Nut November?
No.
Fuck that.
All right, so we all wreck that, right? We're already done.
Well, look, I mean, not that you guys are having sex with your wives every night or anything, but I don't get it that often. And I got it. And it happened to be on November 1st, I think. Maybe the 2nd. So, I mean, I wasn't even planning that. But when you brought that up the other day, I was like, I mean, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, God damn, I'm already out. Go figure, huh?
I mean, I'll tell you at this point, and I'm going to say at this point in my life, but actually, if you would have asked me when I was 19, I'd probably say the same thing. Strike while the iron's hot, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like if it presents itself, what's the point of No Nut November anyway? Are we recognizing some kind of cancer or something? Why do we do this?
So let me look up the actual reason for it. But let's see here.
There it is.
Right. It's great, right? God, there's even a website built around it.
Oh yeah,
really? What are the rules to No Nut November? So my understanding is that it's an annual event to raise awareness and funding for health issues related to prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and mental health. I can't think of something that's more Okay, actually, that wasn't even what I was just thinking from a mental health standpoint. I wasn't thinking from the first two. But this is, I don't know, Feliz Mustafa, whoever the fuck this chick is. It's on hitc.com. It's the first thing that came up. Anyway, I can't think of anything that's worse for prostate cancer or testicular cancer or mental
health. Yeah.
than holding back my getting off.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an absolutely terrible. I get the whole, Movember where you grow out a mustache, you grow out your beard or whatever. Like that seems like a healthy way. And my wife always, loves it when I grow out my facial hair. So like that kind of thing I can get behind. But, you're talking about suppressing a basic human need, because let's not forget, like, there's, two to tango and all that. Like, what about your partner? Like, nope, sorry, I want to raise awareness so you don't get any tonight, honey. Like, no, that's idiocy. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. And I got a question asking for a friend. Does armpit fucking count? I guess it'd be nut. I guess that's the kind of the thing.
It depends on if you're on BYU's campus or not.
We need to keep a streak going to see how many times BYU and some kind of sexual act comes up. It's just, we're at 2 shows now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna blow your load, guys, seriously, why wouldn't you? Ladies, this is for you too. Get the fuck off.
Yeah.
It's good for your head. It's good for your body.
Yeah.
You want to celebrate, taking care of the prostate or testicular cancer and supporting those kind of, there's ways to do it. It's called awareness and saying, you know what, it's okay to go and get your prostate checked, or it's okay to go ahead and get your balls checked. It's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it. You don't have to go, I'm just not going to jerk off. I'm not going to stick it in you.
And, I don't usually go conspiracy theory here. But I think this is part of their whole philosophy on how they kill all of us. Like, let's make it cool for not to just not have sex for a whole month. Because sex lowers your cortisol levels, it raises your dopamine levels, it makes you generally a happier person, it makes you more creative. I mean, there's been so many studies done, sexual health studies done, that it is all good and zero bad. I mean, why would you not want to do that? That's like saying, all right, well, let's just take the month of November and not eat.
Hefe, prior to your interaction, your pelvic interaction the other night, how are you feeling?
Prior to that?
Yeah.
Anxious feelings? Depression?
You mean like leading up to it because it was going to happen, or just in general?
No, just in general.
In general.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I felt fine.
Okay, you just totally blew up my theory.
Yeah, never mind.
God damn it.
Way to play into the joke, Hefe.
Wait, let me try.
No, we've moved on.
Take
it's
2.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the poll that you put out, McShane.
Hey now.
84% of people were like, no, fuck that. We're not going to participate in that. It's stupid. I still am trying to figure out why it's a thing.
Well, it shouldn't be a thing. And let me get back to the poll, because I was on it and then I moved away from it. So the yeses were 8%. And if that's your thing, cool, knock yourself out. No's were 84%. And then I put in something, just be an asshole. Haven't stopped November since 2021. So 25 votes, 84% of our listeners were like, no, I'm going to get it on. And you know what? More power to you. Don't listen to the fucking media. Don't listen to whatever is fucking trending on People magazine or Lifestyle or whatever the hell it is. And I want to shout out, we've got feedback for two things this week from Casa Migos Chris.
Chris. I was just gonna say something about him, so I'm glad you brought him up.
I love this dude.
Yeah.
And we're gonna call him out. He's like, he's super engaged on Twitter, and I appreciate that. Haven't had a reason to bust one all year, so why start now? I get that. I totally get that. But go out there and bust one.
Yeah, like no reason. I actually want to talk to this dude and just find out, because like honestly, I could find a reason. I shit you not. I'm sitting at my desk here. I'm looking at my computer screen. The way the light is reflecting off this one part of the texturing on my wall, on the drywall.
You want to hump your wall?
Oh yeah, it's a pair of tits. I mean, I could literally just start jerking off to that right now. And I'm wondering if Casamigos Chris is. I mean, like, what are your surroundings that you're not seeing? You know, either boobs or butts or you know, some sort of reference to a vagina. I mean, dude, just go. Fucking, didn't we all see American Pie? Like, go buy an apple pie and throw it in the microwave for a couple of minutes. You're like, trust me, you're good to go, bro.
I've never done that before, and
you've never fucked food?
Not an apple pie, and I'm trying to think if I fucked anything else as food. I don't think so. I don't think so. You answered that really quick. I personally don't think I have.
Besides vagina, because that could also be considered food, right? I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's delicious.
Am I right?
Am I right? No, I've. Well, hold on. So, Hefe, have you ever fucked food?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're all friends?
So what food have you fucked then?
What food haven't I fucked? What are you talking about? Fucking apple pie, pastrami, a watermelon, cantaloupe, peach. You take the pit out of a peach, you stick it back together. Dude, it's heaven.
God.
I think you have a problem.
I think you have a problem, sir.
I think we have the best soundbite ever. 69 whiskey after no nut Lent. I didn't even know that was a thing. Never again.
No nut Lent. Yeah.
And I had to say it, Pot. Nah, it's stupid. It's a stupid trend that is bad for your prostate. So
yeah,
don't let your prostate dry out. Go get it on. The other poll that we put out there, and I'll bounce this off of you guys too. Are you guys voting this week or next week?
Go ahead, Hefe. Go ahead.
Well, I'm still gathering information on street corner signs. Not quite ready to vote. Tabulating. No, I'm not going to vote.
I will not be voting. Of our listeners, 51.5% will be. 48.5% will not. Very interesting poll. 33 votes were recorded.
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I did already. We sent in our. We vote by mail. We get our early ballots, and we voted by mail. Already sent them in. Here's the thing. There's a couple of bonds on the issue this year for just the city of Eugene here, and specifically kind of my area, River Road. So I felt it important to cast my vote for those things, but all of the people, all of the offices, I wrote in. So Hefe, you got to vote. McShane, you got to vote. I think McShane, you're going to be county recorder. Hefe, you're going to be a federal or a county judge. I wrote in myself. I just wrote in. You know, I did write in votes. I'm not going to cast a vote for these career politicians who I A, don't know, and B, won't like if I do know them. So they can all fuck off. But I did cast my vote just so that I could get my say in the bond.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with voting if you want to. All right, Heavy, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with voting if you believe it and there's something you want to vote in, and there's something you feel strongly about, candidate, cause, bonds, propositions. Do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna give my political stance other than my answer was I'm not voting.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really interesting and very telling of where the country is. And I love that it was almost straight up 50-50. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I will say, if you ask me honestly to give you an honest answer, if you were to ask me, do you think your vote actually gets counted? My honest answer is I don't. I really don't. But in the off chance that this out isn't all already bought and paid for, and that it's not all already rigged, I wanted to cast my vote. But I really, as I was doing it, I'm like, this is fucking dumb. This is useless. It's a waste of my time. It's just it's political masturbation. It doesn't do anything other than get me off and make me feel powerful. But I really don't feel like my vote counts. I feel like they're going to do what they're going to do, because it's, way above my pay grade, and someone's making some money off of this. And so fuck what the voters want. But
yeah, but that's
I did it anyway.
I like that you had a little bit of faith there, though. That
a little bit.
That means a lot. I did it last year, or last election. Anyway, my politics aside, B word already voted. Cable was the babysitter. I gave up. I hope the whole motherfucker burns. I'm making s'mores.
Hey, that's my beer.
Fucking loved it. Drinks and Things podcast. I'm Canadian, unfortunately. LOL. And then the Sword of the Spirit podcast voted today, actually. So I just appreciate everybody chiming in. I hope if you do go to the ballot boxes and you believe in it, and you get what you want out of it, and you get who you want out of it also. I hope nobody's there to deter you. I hope things go great, and I hope it's not as fucking corrupt as what it's looked like in the past. That's the thing that's really pending, I think. So we'll have to see how that goes. I do have to pick up my mom's ballot. Take her and drop it off. So I am going to be recording that, and I really hope somebody tries to stop me.
Oh yeah, because you guys got some weird shit going on there in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Yeah, we got some fuck sticks out here that like to go ahead and sit by ballot boxes, and the place that I have to pick it up in is like East Mesa, Apache Junction area.
Oh yeah, suspect.
So that'll be a blast. Not that folks in Apache Junction are lovely folks, but I'm all about seeing how this goes. So there'll be a video coming.
Well, it's funny. You can right now, any of you can go out and Google how close we are to civil war, and you will find an equal number of articles that say that we are literally going to start our second civil war on Tuesday. And then you can find articles way over on the other side that are like, no, democracy's working, and we're not even close to civil war because everybody gets a say. And so, believe what you want. I'm probably somewhere in the middle between those two things. I don't think my vote counts. I also don't think we're going to start a civil war, at least not over the elections. Now, the fallout after the elections, who knows? All bets are off. I don't know.
Well, can we get to what Joy Reid thinks?
Yeah. Yes, please. Let's see what that idiot has to say.
Let's see what Joy has to say.
Yeah.
Here use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote, the reasons they really want to vote. People
Did she just say that inflation is something that's brand new and nobody's ever used the word before?
Yeah. And that Republicans taught it to us. And on top of her comments, you've also got President Biden out there this week in a stump speech, campaigning for somebody. He said, if the Republicans win, if this red wave happens, our entire democracy is at stake. Like we will no longer be a democracy if the Republicans win. That's what he said.
Fear-mongering.
Well, and if you think about that statement, I mean, okay, so because you're a terrible president and or because all of your cronies have run this country into the ground and you lose, that means democracy's broken. Actually, sir, I think that means democracy is alive and well, and that this is a mandate against your idiocy, and people want to change. That's what happened when Barack came in. That's what happened when Trump came in. People wanted to change. But it doesn't work both ways, apparently. So,
well,
and then you have this idiot. Go ahead.
Liberals want everything to themselves, and they're the only voice that is to be heard. Whereas anybody who's conservative just wants a seat at the fucking table. And you can see that from the Twitter fallout. You can see that from all of the different stories that have come out from the New York Times and the Washington Post in the last couple of weeks. There was even a New York Times article that said that critical thinking is one of the downfalls of American society.
Yes, I saw that.
What in the absolute fuck?
What? I mean, what are we then if not critical thinkers? We're just robots. I mean, we're just going to be spoon fed this bullshit.
If you're critically thinking, and I'm not excusing. I am not excusing the far right whack jobs. I'm not.
Nope.
I'm not a MAGA. Okay,
No.
Some of those guys, not the QAnon folks. Y'all are out there. All right, I'm down the middle. Okay, I have the left, the stuff that you guys want to do and the control that you want to have. It's damning. It is absolutely damning. Unless everybody has a seat at the table, and then America comes together on a Tuesday and decides this is what we want. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So all this fear mongering and all of this, Republicans are just saying that inflation is just something that's new and we want everybody to be scared of it. And we just want your vote because of inflation. That's bullshit.
I want to hear what she has to say when the economy actually, it's tanking. It is. We all see it. But when it really
she'll never say that. She'll never say that.
No. What I want to hear is what the fuck is she going to say when working families, everybody, mom and dad, both lost their jobs this year. Bread is $8.55 a loaf, and they're applying for welfare and they can't get it because there's no more money left. I want to hear what she has to say then. I don't want to hear if she's going to admit that, well, maybe inflation's a real thing or whatever. I don't care about that. I just want to know what's the rhetoric? What's the how is she going to toe the party line at that point?
It'll all be about Trump. That is the filler.
Well, I know
that is the filler. Anytime they don't have something to talk about, we got to talk about Trump. We got to talk about QAnon. We got to talk about the MAGA side of the Republican Party. That's what you go to. When you don't have anything to talk about, when you can't be an actual fucking journalist, that's what you fucking go to.
Well, yeah, because look what they did with the whole Paul Pelosi thing. It was a political attack. He's a MAGA supporter, and that's why he attacked Paul Pelosi. Which is just so asinine when you actually look at who this guy is and what his politics are. We are so far lost as far as the media and being able to trust it. And I know that that's why our listeners tune into what we're doing, because they don't trust, the mainstream media anymore. You can't trust them anymore. I just hope that if we have any new listeners this week, I really hope that you listen carefully to what we're saying and why we're saying it. We are, as McShane said, we are down the middle politically. Both of us are for different reasons.
And think for yourself. Don't sell out to one side or the other just because somebody said something stupid like Joy Reid did, or because of this. I gotta play this. This is the Biden protester thing.
Yeah, to it.
Security and Medicare are more than government programs. They're a promise. They're a promise. Work hard and contribute, and when time comes to retire, things are going to be a little easier for you. Not guaranteed, but it's a little easier. Social Security and Medicare don't solve it all. But there's a rock out, and we've counted on it. It's a rock-solid guarantee, an ironclad commitment. Generations of Americans have counted on it, and it works. If we didn't have Social Security, the poverty rate for those over 65 would be 4 times what it is now. 4 times. I love those signs when I came in. Socialism. Just give me a break. What idiots. Socialism.
When you've got somebody who's willing to call protesters American citizens idiots, and he's the fucking president, what are you going to get out of MSNBC, CNN, any other liberal network? If he's willing to go ahead and go there, if he's saying it's okay, he's saying it's okay to be assholes to the right or anybody who disagrees with you. Point or not, I don't agree that socialism or Social Security is socialism. I don't connect the two. I don't. But if I'm the president, I do not come out and say that somebody who disagrees with me is an idiot.
No. I mean, it's like the Atlantic article that came out, which is that we should all just forgive one another for the things that we said and did during COVID.
Oh my God.
So all the fucking people that lost their jobs, all the people that were forced to get the vaccination, even when they didn't want it, the military, the police, the firemen who all had to quit because they didn't want the jab. People weren't allowed to go see their sick grandparents in the hospital. They weren't allowed to, go to they maybe were allowed to, but they were encouraged not to go to holidays with family. And then what do you know? Someone died before you got to see him again. All of these travesties, we're supposed to forgive it because, we just really didn't know what was going on in the beginning. Okay.
Oopsie.
You also didn't have to lock down the whole fucking country. And no, we're not going to forgive you. That's not how it works. Fuck off. And so, yeah, Joe, it's not okay to be an asshole to people like that. That's not presidential. People used to talk about how unpresidential Trump was. And I agree. He was the worst president we ever had up till that point. Now Joe is taking the lead. Good job, Joe. You're way more of a fucking asshole. Way more.
Congratulations.
You're not grabbing him by the pussy, that's for sure. Because all the young girls are running from you, so you can't grab their pussies. But dude, you don't. There were hecklers. Yes, there were hecklers. So handle it presidentially. Don't stoop to their level and say, what idiots. It's just at a level of such a joke at this point that, I mean, you almost can't even make any commentary on it because it's so absurd.
Well, and you become you're ostracized if you do comment on it, right? I mean, you're oh well, you're part of the right. You're part of no, I'm actually critiquing what a gigantic dick you are.
Yeah,
I'm stating that I don't agree that you're a good person, president, individual, statesman.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I'm right wing, left wing, anything. It means what I'm observing is garbage.
And you know what's crazy? So we mentioned Elon earlier, and there's this huge backlash. And I don't know if you want to go here right now. Maybe we should just touch on this Atlantic article, and I'll save this for later. But
let's do.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I missed putting this into the document. I'm so sorry. Emily Oster, you're one of the most horrible people on the face of the planet.
Yep.
Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. Let's focus on the future and fix the problems we still need to. In April 2020, with nothing else to do, my family took an enormous number of hikes. We all wore cloth masks that I made myself.
Of course she did.
We had a family hand signal, which the person in the front would use if someone was approaching on the trail, and we needed to put on our masks. Once, when another child got too close to my then 4-year-old son on a bridge, he yelled at her, "Social distancing!"
These are the kinds of maniacs that want amnesty. Maniacs.
You don't get amnesty. You were an asshole. You
ostracized.
You ostracized so many Americans because they weren't willing to go ahead and get this vaccination. They didn't want to go ahead and put masks on because they knew that masks scientifically, physics even, it didn't fucking matter.
Nope.
You ostracized people for a vaccine that might cut back on your ability to get the virility, the impact of that sickness, but it's not going to keep you from getting it
or spreading it. Like they lied and told us it was 0 clinical trials. The clinical trials, not 0. They did do one, and it wasn't on enough people at all. And then they just put it out there, and then I think what's even worse is that not necessarily that they were assholes, because everyone's allowed to be an asshole, right? Freedom of speech, and you can have your belief system. You're allowed to go knock on someone's door and tell them that they're not right with the Lord. You're allowed to do that. I'm going to slam the door in your face, but you can do it. The worst part is that they taught their kids to be assholes. They put their own shit right onto their kids. That's the worst part, because the kids are going to have to live with that the rest of their lives and deal with the emotional scars.
All of our kids are. All of our kids are. Even the ones that weren't, parents, didn't have parents that were pushing this shit.
Yep.
Our kids stayed home. Our kids had to go ahead. They had to go through social distancing. We had to sit here and go, you know what? Sorry, you're not allowed to go to a movie theater because, it's closed because somebody thinks you're going to, somebody's going to get infected.
Or go to school.
You can't go to school. You can't see your friends for months on end. You have to be a recluse.
Dude, I've always said that, high school for me, I can't tell you one thing I learned in a high school class. Not one. What I did learn in high school was social skills. Like to the nth degree. I learned, how I was going to attract the opposite sex, which wasn't through my athleticism. It was through me being funny and sweet and kind. That's what you learn in high school. And all of that was taken away from these kids. All of it.
You learn to deal with life.
And you learn to deal with life. Yep.
And who drove the agendas? People who didn't want to deal with life.
Yep. Right.
We have to put these fights aside and declare a pandemic amnesty. We can leave out the willful purveyors of actual misinformation while forgiving the hard calls that people had no choice but to make with imperfect knowledge. Los Angeles County closed its beaches in summer 2020. Ex post facto. She just wanted to use that fucking word.
Yeah, she did.
This makes no more sense than my family massed hiking trips. I'm going to go back to the beginning here, and I'm just going to say, Emily Oster, fuck you. No, you don't get an amnesty. Nope. You posted shit on the internet. You posted hate. You promoted division.
Yep.
You're a shitty person. Monsters. And you're supposed to be a doctor. Fuck you.
Yeah. They called us monsters. They said we were killing people by not getting vaccinated.
Yeah. Who's the monster?
You remember the White House?
Who's the fucking monster?
Yeah. You remember the White House statement? It's going to be a long, dark winter for those of you who didn't get vaccinated. You're going to have a lot of, I don't even remember the verbiage on that, but it was terrible from the White House that came out.
Yeah. That was the same guy who called his protesters idiots. So there you go.
Zero amnesty. I'm sorry. Another thing I learned in high school was that if you fuck with an entire section of the population, whether it was the girls because you called them whores, or you were a guy and you said you slept with this one girl when you didn't really. The backlash is going to be swift and severe, and this will happen for you, Emily. It will happen for all of you assholes that were out there trying to make monsters out of people who were just asking questions. That's all we were doing. That's all we did from the beginning was ask questions. And when they wouldn't get answered, that was a red flag for us not to proceed any further. I'm not going anywhere with you until you tell me where we're going. And if you won't tell me where we're going, I'm not getting in the fucking car. Well, now you're going to yell at me and call me a dick, or just say, well, hey, let's just move on. I wasn't telling you where we were going because it was going to be a bad place. Okay,
yeah, it was a rough time. It was a rough time. Nobody knew what was going on, Fitz.
Just
nobody
fuck off.
knew.
Yeah. How you doing on that beer over there?
I'm about to kill it, and I'm going to enjoy it too, because this actually warmed up really nice. It stayed. So picture this, because I know you're not a wine guy, but
yeah,
you've drank wine before, I think,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know how it's dry.
Well, it can be.
Well, okay, right. So picture a dry wine, but absolutely mouth-watering at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I can dig that.
Seriously good farmhouse. I have 2 more Jester Kings in there, and I'm so excited.
Wow, you scored.
To drink those. Well, I saw them. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking do it. And I'm on a diet too, so I shouldn't be, but I'm gonna hold on to them, and they'll be in there. So I may have another Jester King next week. We'll see. But
yeah,
anyway,
great.
I'm starting off with I love this first beer.
I did not love my first beer. I will say though, it wasn't terrible. And I think that someone who is kind of new to the Imperial Stout family might actually find this a little more enjoyable than some of the stuff that I enjoy. Because this was straight up kind of just an Imperial Stout, but it wasn't a beer first. It was, let's put in a lot of flavoring first, and then we'll make sure it kind of tastes like a beer on the back end, which is the opposite of what I like. So, but someone else might find this really enjoyable. I'm not going to say it's a complete dud. It was definitely drinkable. It was 11.7%, so it did its job. But I'm definitely ready for my next beer. I'm hoping this next one. I'm really looking forward to this next one.
Well, with that, I think we should go and get after the second one. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be back with you in just a moment. Here's a little word from our sponsors. All right, getting into beer number 2. I have a clown pig. Clown pig. What the fuck's a clown pig?
I don't know, but I'd like to see it.
So, all right, I got to bring this up. First of all, it's clown shoes. I have a clown shoes beer, and you know that I'm weak for these guys.
Oh yeah, I am too. They're great.
So let me go and bring up Clown Shoes beer. Now, Clown Shoes is a brewery that does amazing dark stuff.
Yeah.
Ridiculous dark stuff. All of their beers are really good, period. But their dark stuff, for me, is just unreal. Whether it's the Blaircorn Unidragon, which was my first love, to everything that came from that particular, what would you call it? I always want to say it's almost a template, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of their beers are just fucking fantastic. Anyway, this one is a Flight to Bolivia. Old ale aged in Whistle Pig, rye, ex-Bordeaux barrels. I don't know what I'm getting with this.
Oh yeah,
I have no idea.
That's kind of like what we touched on last week. You know, when brewers decide to go off the reservation a little bit and cask their stuff in some crazy barrels, you get so much complexity from it. So you really don't know what you're getting. And almost 100% of the time, it's something amazing, but you just never know what it's going to be.
So this is an old ale that they have not, it was from 2021.
Okay.
It's no longer in production. I'm on their site, clownshoesbeer.com. I'm getting fucking even more stoked for this because it's not, you can't find it anymore. Fly to Bolivia or Fly to Morocco. Master Clown Shoes. Now, this is their whole Clown Shoes series, which it has this one master, and you have to go back and you have to read each of the cans because each can has something else that this guy is doing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Is Clown Shoes? Their can art, and again, we don't judge a can by its outer cover always, but their art is amazing. And then two, they always have a story behind their beer. Always, there's always some story, and it's always interesting and fun.
And this one in particular is a Shaolin monk.
Yeah.
One place shelters an ancient Shaolin relic that will aid in the correction of the imbalances that have plagued him. I'm sorry, Master Clown Shoes. That's who we're talking about. The other holds nothing but despair. But which is which? Here we see the Master, a choice arrived at as he guides a recently acquired mythological owl on a momentous flight to South America. I'm stoked because this is an old ale and it's boozy. It smells smooth. And I'm going to go in.
Yeah, go for it. And by old ale, he doesn't, an old ale is not one that's just sat on the shelf too long. It's an old recipe. That's what an old ale, that's what's referring to.
Oh my God.
What do you think? Yeah.
I'm going to hurt tomorrow morning. Let's go for old ale. Old ale is a form of strong ale. The term is commonly applied to dark malty beers in England, generally above 5%. This is actually a 10.
I was going to say above 5. They're generally above 8.
Yeah, good luck finding one that's under that.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that about this is it's you don't get the same kind of flavor texture, the same kind of flavor profile as what you get from beers that are using something other than Brettanomyces. Okay, when you start using a Brett, you're not going to get the same beer from year to year to year. It can't happen. It will not happen. You might get something that's close, but you're not going to get something that's going to be the same. So if you're drinking about this a strong ale, absolutely. This is really close to a barley wine. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. They are sometimes.
It is boozy. It's a little sweet. It is pleasant. It's a panty dropper. It's absolute a headache in a can. It tastes so fucking good, Fitz. This might be the best Clown Shoes beer I've had. This is one of the styles that we live for, right?
Yeah, it really is.
I'm so happy with this beer. Wow, perfect time of year for it too.
Yeah, right.
What you got?
So I went with a Block 15. I've reviewed many of their beers here on the show. They're here in Oregon. They're in Corvallis, which is about an hour, not quite an hour north of my house. And this one's called Dark Matter, and it is a chocolate porter. And I am very excited to have this beer. And if you can sense some hesitancy in my voice about that, it's because I've already had a sip of it and I fucking hate it.
No.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It is a porter. It's a dry porter. It's dry. Right. Got the malt that we've talked about with porters having.
Yep.
Here's what's wrong with it. The chocolate, and this often happens with vanilla, cinnamon, sometimes some of the fruity flavors. Not so often with the chocolate, but this time this tastes like they added the chocolate after.
No,
it's like an artificial. Yeah, it's an artificial chocolate flavor, and it doesn't hit the same as if you put the actual nibs in your beer while it's brewing. You get that full-bodied chocolate, the dark chocolate flavor. This tastes like someone squirted some Hershey syrup in it. after they brewed it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. And I'm disappointed because I'm a fan of Block 15. This definitely won't stop me from trying more of their beers in the future, but
Right.
I'm disappointed. So I had 2 duds tonight. I think this might be my first night I had 2 duds. I generally love the beers I have. But these just aren't hitting for me.
I don't recall a time that you went over 2. That happens to me. That happens to me often. Like not once a month, but probably once every 2 months, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll just absolutely swing and whiff. That sucks. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, I struck out tonight. It's okay. It happens. I mean, you can't bat 1,000 all the time. And I'm sorry because I know there are people who really look forward to my amazing beer reviews. I just don't. I don't have it in me this week. There's nothing. It's not terrible. Like both of these beers were not terrible enough for me to say something funny about, and they weren't good enough for me to say something funny about. They're just like a bath in lukewarm water. Like I'm just bathing in mediocrity here, and it's terrible.
I think as a journalist, though, you have a responsibility to keep it honest, and that really makes all of those beers where, I mean, remember where the pineapple fucked your face?
Oh, yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we had hazelnuts coming in your mouth. I mean, those that means those were super special. So
yeah.
I'm just glad that you're keeping it real.
I absolutely am, and I have to, like you said, as a journalist and just as a human being. I just I'm too old to fuck around with joking around with stuff that doesn't need to be joked about. I will say there's one quality about this beer that I do like in a beer sometimes. And sometimes when you drink a beer, it's like you get that, like putting your tongue on a 9-volt battery, you get that battery flavor.
Yes.
I'm getting that from this just a bit. So that's kind of enjoyable. It's making my nipples hard also. So I don't know if that's normal.
Okay.
But they're literally standing on end.
So when you would put your tongue on a 9-volt, did your tongue salivate? Because that's what always happened to me.
Oh yeah. I gleeked.
Did you really?
I would gleek from it sometimes. And I can't gleek on command like some people can. But I did when I stuck the 9-volt on there.
So I could never do that on command either, but for whatever reason, and maybe I got excited, I have no idea, but it seems like the only times that I would do that is when I'm being intimate. Like I would open my mouth like to go into like, we're gonna get like a nice solid, we're making out, we're going at it, and all of a sudden, put up with a splash guard and I put out somebody's eye.
Really? I did not know that about you.
I can't do it any other time. Unless or if I'm at the dentist, which is normal. So
yeah. So that night when I was bleeding all over the bar and I'm like, it's time to go, and you were like face fucking that girl. You gleeked on her?
I might have. I have no idea. I don't remember. She doesn't remember. I'm sure she's put me out of her mind.
Oh, I'm sure. The only reason, yeah, she was. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Although,
no, she would have denied me. It's fine.
She wouldn't have been the one for you. I somehow knew that. That's why I busted that glass.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
I will die on that hill as well.
Okay, good. Excellent. And we'll just let the story sit right there.
Hey, can we talk about your new favorite game?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's got to be. Because I can't think of anything more playable than this shit.
All right, so I threw it out to you guys earlier in the week. How I found this is kind of just a weird series of events, and I'm not going to really go into how it happened. I will I will just suffice it to say that I got on a little bit of a disinformation thing. I was trying to find out how much disinformation our government is putting out there. Okay, so this is the game you're hearing here. Oh, you can, yeah. And up pops this game. And I thought, but I put in the government, and I was on DuckDuckGo. I was just trying to see what DuckDuckGo would shoot at me. And this game popped up. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I click on it and I start playing it. I'm like, what is happening? And the more you research it, so here's what it is. It's a game called Cat Park. And I will describe the game in a minute, but what this game was paid for by your tax dollars. This was the U.S. government commissioned this, paid for this game to be made, designed, and put out for people to play.
Right.
And it is a whole game about how disinformation happens and how you can avoid it in your everyday life, quote unquote. Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the screen right here that just this game simulates the tactics and techniques of media manipulation that are used in the real world to exploit social tensions for personal or political gains. Cat Park works as a psychological vaccine. They use the term vaccine in this against disinformation. Playing the game builds cognitive resistance against common forms of manipulation that you may encounter online. So you're inoculating me against you, basically, government.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. So anyway, I mean, take it away, McShane. You played the game. I played the game. Your wife tried to play the game. How exciting is this thing?
Oh, okay. So first of all, development funding. Let's make sure that that's out there and clear.
Oh,
the U.S.
yep.
Department of State's Global Engagement Center, the GEC, and U.S. Embassy, The Hague, financially supported the development of Cat Park in collaboration with Tilt, Guzmanson Design, the University of Cambridge, and Stitching. Sofish. It's Danish.
Yeah.
To counter
Yeah.
foreign adversarial propaganda and disinformation impacting non-U.S. populations. Animation was done by Felicia. It doesn't matter anyway. So you guys can go ahead and go to catpark.game and you guys can go ahead and download this gem.
And this was in the fiscal budget for 2019. Let's just put that into perspective. In 2019, they put into the budget that we're going to need a game to combat disinformation. Now,
right.
What happened in November, December of 2019? COVID. Go ahead.
And that really sets the scene.
Yeah.
So Cat Park, it starts off with, I'm going to go ahead and hit play here, and you guys can go ahead and play along with me if you want. Let me go ahead and I'm going to engage. I'm going to go ahead and put the sound on for this one.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me see here. Bear with me. Enable sound. Good. Sound's on. All right. Oh, that's loud. Let's take it down a notch there. Let's see if that works.
Slow your roll, Cat Park. Slow your roll.
So we've got a shitty room. Like this guy's like in a hovel or like a $19 a day like hotel room or something.
Or just a shitty apartment that has a letter instead of a number.
Yeah, I mean it fucking sucks. So I'll turn this down a little bit more. I'm already annoyed by the music. So anyway, the game is best experienced with audio enabled. So I put the audio on. All right, so enable audio. Good. So it's printing at the bottom exactly what's taking place, right? So you're in this bedroom.
Yeah, there's no like voiceover or anything. You have to read all of this.
Right. So it's like an old school text choose your own adventure, right? Like one of those. So the good news is that this is your brand new apartment.
And the bad news?
You're from out of town and you have no friends.
Oh, sadness. And I'm reading what you have to click on to keep the game going.
So
that's what
I just thought of something. I'm going to disable the sound because it's for our listeners. It's going to be better if we don't have it. So, so you're going to say, sadness, right? Okay.
Yeah,
so
sadness.
I have no other choices. I have to click on sadness.
Yep.
All right. So it says in the top left, you can check your phone. The red dot shows that you have a notification.
Open
so
phone.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm a depressed individual sitting in this really shitty room, and there's Chinese food sitting on
the fucking light,
the fucking
that's
door
hanging
sill.
It's flickering.
And there's a black cat that's paranoid and it can't stop walking back and forth.
Yeah, and the screen is all fucked up on the window.
And I hit the phone icon and it opens up. I get an influencer score. My influencer score is 0 right now. And I really want to get my influencer score up, obviously, because of social media. So I have 2 options. Friendy is the social media app, or Messages. I'm going to click Friendy because I have
before you click that, hold on. Did you think it was odd or at all out of place that you're wearing a glove?
I didn't even catch that until now, but yes, now I'm thinking that that's obviously creepy.
You're wearing a black glove, and it's very clearly. It's not just a dark hand. No, it's not just a dark hand like in a shadow or something. You can see stitching going up the thumb. You're wearing a black glove. O.J. Simpson glove.
I'm already a nefarious individual.
You bet.
So I click on Friendy, the social media app, which is actually, I'm sure they're referring to Twitter. We've got all these different kind of feeds that are going on here. Nice stuff like, have you guys heard about the cat park thing in the city is this building? Why? Melanie, that park sounds great. I hear I'll soon be able to take my 12 cats to a new park. So now we're ragging on cat women.
Yep.
Drinking my coffee, eating a Marvin's hot dog. Life is good. Okay, so thanks, Sam. Best grandma, little Toby graduated 8th grade. Woo. Concerned couple, the Loch Bess monster is out there. So we're going to go ahead and throw in some conspiracy theory right there.
Yep.
Proud cat mama, Mr. Fluffy Butt, I don't know, what the fuck is that, the 19th?
The 14th? No, 14th.
Threw up a hairball on my pillow again. They're going through and they're calling attention to conspiracies. 2, they're basically making people look stupid. That's really what that whole social media string is. You go back to the room and suddenly that was Friendly, the social media app used by anyone and everyone. Hey, look, a new notification. So I can go to the phone again. Go to Messages. Want to do something for the greater good? Meet us at the cafe, Le Chat Reid.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who receives random messages to go, let's go and meet nefariously, but that's what this is. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
And it's signed a friend.
And remember, the game states in its manifesto.
That's the best word for it.
Yep. That they're helping you avoid things that happen in the real world. As McShane just said, this you just got a random text from someone called a friend to meet down at the cafe. Who in their right fucking mind would be like, that sounds like a great idea? But you go back to the screen here, and now McShane's only choice is to head over to the cafe. Because if you don't, you just sit in this shitty room and you don't do anything.
Well, let's go ahead and click no. Just going to stay in the apartment. Yes, this is fun. Just you in the apartment.
And
stay here.
it just sends you on this fucking loop.
Your plant is especially dead today. So now I'm a plant killer. Stay here.
So stay here. Yeah. So you just keep getting these.
This is so boring. Please go to the cafe. Please play my game.
Yeah. So now you have to head to the cafe. Show map.
And
what a map.
And so after you sent this to me, I went through and I tried this. I tried this. I tried really hard to go with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not going to take you through the whole thing here. Trust me. This is going somewhere.
No, we're not. The first thing I did was I tried to go the contrary method. Okay, I tried to go I knew it was easy. It was really easy to understand. I see where this is going. I'm going to go and see how I can get out of this. I'm going to do everything contrary to where they want me to go. You can't do it. You have to go to the cafe where you meet Melanie.
Yeah, and by the way, just to describe this for all of you who aren't going to take the time and waste your time, honestly, and go check out the game. This isn't like live action. You don't walk down to the cafe. It's not like a first person shooter or even where you have your little guy that you're wandering around like, oh, I don't know, Pac-Man or Mario Brothers. No, you don't control anything. There's just pictures that are there. And then you like McShane said, you do choose your own adventure. And then these really bad, animations pop up of these stupid fucking characters. This is all shit you could do on Canva by yourself.
And not only are there stupid fucking characters, it's so overly dramatic. It is so overdone. And all it does is, let's go ahead, let's make everybody who has a contrary opinion, anybody who is passionate about anything that's opposite what the establishment should say, hey, let's go and put a harmless cat park in. They're fucking whack jobs. This person, you look at her, right? You got Melanie standing here. She's got we've got a tan trench coat. She's wearing super dark glasses, very passionate about.
She has two watches on, which I thought was weird.
That a little bit of paranoia there, right? I'm sure maybe she's twitching. I have no idea. That I caught that as well. But everything that she says is, again, if I go, this is harmless. Well, I mean, just because cats are internet's favorite pets doesn't mean we should spend taxpayers' money on a useless park.
Good point. You have no choice but to agree with her.
You have no choice but to go down this fucking exercise.
All right. So the point of the game is you have to, it forces you to be against the cat park. And so then you have to build up your social credit score, basically is how they worded it, which is scary in itself. And your influence, and try and convince people and make them think that this cat park is a bad idea because it's a waste of taxpayer money.
So I stopped playing it.
That's the whole point of the game. Yeah.
I stopped playing it because here's where my fear went. I don't want to be designated as somebody who actually played this game, took it to its fruition, and could suddenly say, well, I actually sided with the people who wanted to get rid of the cat park. I don't know what the outcome is. I just know that this game fucking sucks. It's stupid. The concept
it's terrible.
Is to force people to deal with the whole disinformation issue in a way that actually puts the onus away from the government, who's the number one disinformation unit that there is, and it focuses it on this whatever extremist, left, right, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Blackhand here holding the phone. When you pulled that up, it was mind-blowing that this was actually done.
Yeah. No, it is. And I mean, it's so, if you just were to play this game, at some point you'd be like, I mean, and not knowing where it came from, you'd be like, did the government design this? Because it's so governmental on so many levels. A, it sucks.
Oh,
right?
It's
just like government. Yeah. B, it's about 35 to 40 years late on the fucking graphics. And I mean, there's no movement in the thing. Oregon Trail was a better, more exciting game than this.
Oregon Trail had more graphics than
that's
this.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was Oregon Trail at 8-bit was way better than this is. Number 3, it has an agenda. It's trying to get you to think a certain way. I mean, there are so many red flags on this that it's government sponsored and funded, and like, this is the best our government can do. Are you fucking kidding me? And what's sad is what worries me is that I could see a 6 or 7-year-old playing this game and getting into it, and then what if they don't have the wherewithal to think through this and critically think about what's being taught? Then they're going to think this is how the world is, and now they just recruited another asshole to follow along with the rhetoric. And I just, on every level, this thing just really irks me. And the good thing is it doesn't have a lot of clicks. It's really unpopular, but you can't save them all.
It's disturbing. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, it really is disturbing that it's even out there, that was a thing that they thought was a good idea. I don't know who's actually played it. I can tell you right now. So I got good conversation, I thought, from, well, okay. So, Porn Stash podcast, this stupid thing angers me. A real game would let you choose whichever option you want without eventually forcing you to choose the other. And that Melanie chick can fuck right off.
Well said, Porn Stash.
Hands 209 Action Movie Book Club, another podcast you guys should totally check out. I hate this. I hate it so much. How is this real? And he went on to, so I replied back to him that, okay, it's dog shit. If dog shit had a game, this would be it. It legitimately upset me. It's so condescending in its childishness. I don't know if I'm more bothered by thinking that of us all. It's so condescending in its childishness. I don't know if I'm more bothered by them thinking that of all of us, or that they are right and it's the only way to reach people. I want to go back to bed.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that you put this out and that people actually were like, okay, I'll fucking try it. And that we weren't the only ones that just hated it on every visceral level. And I actually, for any listeners out there, I actually encourage you to just at least go see what we're talking about. Don't spend more than 5 minutes on it, but go and see what because I don't care if it was 1/10 of a cent of my taxpayer money that went to this thing. I don't fucking care. That's time. I mean, money is time. That's time of my life you just took from me. And I'm never going to get it back. So you could put out this dog shit.
What was the value?
There's zero value.
Proposition there.
Zero value. I'm getting nothing on my return. It is only government propaganda. And government, somewhere along the line, we lost the idea that government works for us. At some point now, we're all here to exist to keep the government going. And I don't know why it happened. I don't know when it happened, but it happened. And that's really what we're fighting for here. Not just in this election, this Tuesday, but just that's the fight of our lives, of our generation, is to take the power back. I mean, Rage Against the Machine had it right, man. We got to take the power back or we're all fucked. And I fear, sometimes I fear, just by doing this show and the awareness that doing the show has brought to me and to others, I fear it's too late. I don't know how we get the power back, and I don't know when we could, even if we knew how, because they have seized so much of it. I mean, when the other guy is holding all the cards, it's really hard to win in war. Really hard.
I don't know. I really don't know if there's a way to get the power back. I think it's really just try and carve out some room to breathe at this point, maybe. I have no idea.
But see, and I agree with you, McShane. I agree with you. I in my own little corner of the world, I'm not saying
that's right. I'm not saying that's right.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm with you. I'm gonna protect my space, my right to peace and to privacy. But there are so many out there who don't even have the awareness, and they won't put any effort into that, and they're gone. And there's so many more of them than there are of us. It's I don't know. We're just in a bad way here. Oh boy, are we?
So
we're going here next.
We're going to go here next because this guy is who's going to be defending.
Let's not hold on. Let's not jump to any assumptions.
You
this
sure?
person.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
You said guy, and I'm not entirely sure. So just let's keep it at that. Yep.
I'm literally about to quit. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but like, I really want to. I almost walked out today, and I'm crying in the back room right now, and I almost cried on the floor. It's just, I'm like a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and on weekends they schedule me the entire day, open to close. I'm on the schedule for 8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. I'm like 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day. Only 5 people were put on the schedule, and somebody had to call out. And there are 4 people running the whole store, and there's so many customers, and there's possibly scheduled 5 people. We only have 13 people employed at this store, and there's so many customers. And like, we don't have fair scheduling. Managers don't care about us. Our manager was supposed to come in this weekend, and he took himself off the schedule, so he wouldn't be able to be held accountable for calling out. He just literally tore down the schedule that he was scheduled on and put up a new schedule where he wasn't on the schedule. Also, he couldn't have even seen that he was scheduled in the first place because he didn't want to be held accountable for not wanting to come in. They don't want to help us. We need a union because this can't happen. This can't happen. We need fair scheduling. We need managers to hold themselves accountable for helping their workers. They refuse to turn mobile orders off. We need the liberty to be able to do that because there's so many mobile orders and I need to get through all of them. And then people are yelling at me because I don't have their orders ready and they don't know what to do. And a customer was misgendering me today, like really badly. I didn't have their order ready. And so they were just like talking like each other and they're like, she's clearly incompetent. I have a full mustache and beard. What the fuck? I don't get accommodations for being neurodivergent. I don't. Like, I can't use. People get mad at me for using my sick time. I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm like at my wits' end with this job. I really am.
This is why you have things like Cat Park created.
Yeah. Dude, it's the funniest part, and I'm sorry if you caught my audio laughing there. When they, I'm just going to say they, I know they are upset that they were misgendered, but when they said, I have a full mustache and beard, okay, you have to go out and watch the video, and then you'll know exactly what I'm going to describe here. But after you pull out the clippers and you shave your testicles, you and there's still that little bit of stubble, but the hair's really sparse down there, right? It's not like a man's beard like yours or my beard. We
did this last night.
Yeah, we have a beard, but when you shave your testicles and the hairs are few and far between, but there's still that stubble. That's what this person has on their face. So
I'm not going to knock that. I'm
knocking it because I'm telling you right now, I could easily mistake you for any of these people. And I'm not going to say man or woman, but people who have like a little bit of peach fuzz growing on the lip and a little bit of peach fuzz growing on the chin. I would have easily, if you were crying like that, I would have easily assumed you were female or just somewhere on the spectrum, on the female spectrum. And we do have a Hefe sighting. This is perfect timing, Hefe. Welcome.
Hi.
How's it going, Hefe?
Well, since I last talked to you guys, I did craps, mucker, and roulette. So shittier.
Exciting. So all right. Let's spice this up. In roulette, did anybody hit anything worth talking about?
Well,
I guess that's a no.
Define worth talking about because
okay. Oh, go ahead.
One guy put $400 on black and hit it, so he won $400. But I didn't make anything off of it.
Nah. That's not. No, what I'm talking about. So my incredible roulette story is that we were in Vegas. I not with you guys. I was with my future wife, my kung fu brother John, a couple of other kung fu brothers, and I gave myself a certain amount of money to play that night, and I was down to my last $10 of what I had given myself to play that night. So I'm like, fuck it, and I slapped it down on 3 because that's my lucky number, and it hit.
How much did you put down?
$10.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a huge payout, but it was incredible for me because I was down to nothing. And then all of a sudden I could go play. And I had a really good rest of the night because I just was on a winning streak. So anything like that happened where someone's like, hey, I'm putting my last 10 on it, or I'm putting my last whatever. Nothing like that.
I got an old story about that. You remember the story about Ted?
Yes, I do remember this story, but tell it because it's worth telling.
Okay, so we're in Vegas for like 3 days, and we're leaving. We have our luggage. We're walking through the casino to the cab stand to go to the airport. And Ted's like, hang on. And he puts literally his last $30 on his favorite number, which I think was 26. And he fucking hits it. Believable, man. It was like over $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. But like, if you lost, I guess I was paying for the cab and lunch and everything.
But that's the way Ted rolled. That's the way Ted rolled. He always was willing to fuck you. He didn't get to actually fuck you, so he was going to fuck you some other way. And that's how Ted rolled.
Yep.
So his Vegas name then became 35-1. That was it for a while.
Yeah. I still want to fight him. Sorry.
No, you don't.
I do. I would love
fighting a child.
I'd jack that fucker up.
Yeah.
You would.
Send him this podcast. I'll fuck him.
Well, hold on. I get first dibs. Anyway, what
do you get first dibs?
Dude, because I knew him a lot longer and he was an asshole to me for way more. I lived with the dude, man.
All right. That sucks. All right. That's fine. I'll take seconds. It's fine.
And I promise I won't put him in the hospital. I'll leave something worth.
No, that's fine. I'll just talk to his nurse and I'll take care of him another way.
Hopefully she's hot. Anyway, what do you got pulled up here, McShane?
So are you guys going to contribute to Kanye's GoFundMe?
I did.
Did you? Like $10, $20? What did you do?
All in.
That one clip you guys sent earlier about the what's that girl called? The guy that gave his life savings to that chick.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
she's like a
girl. Yeah.
E-girl, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, E-girl. That's what I did to Kanye. I gave him every penny I have because I got to pick the guy up, you know.
Yeah, he needs a pickup. He needs a kick in the balls. How do you get to be an anti-Semitic prick and have somebody go ahead and start a GoFundMe to help you get back to your billionaire status?
Yeah, because that's what the goal of the GoFundMe was.
Fans created GoFundMe pages to get Kanye West back to billionaire status. Here's the result. As Afrotech previously reported, the Yeezy founder severed ties with Adidas. No, Adidas dropped his ass.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not how the order. Yeah.
So he went from over $1 billion as far as net worth down to $400 million.
Oh, no. That's like we were talking about with Zuckerberg last week. Like, yeah, he lost 3/4 of his wealth, but he's still worth $36 billion. Let's not cry for these people.
No, there should be no crying. There should be zero crying. Kyrie Irving, okay, the other night, he refused to go ahead and apologize for the, Hebrews to Negroes, I think. That was the video that he was propagating on his Twitter feed. It was something like that. And he didn't refute it. He didn't apologize for putting out there, and he was highly anti-Semitic, basically blaming the Jews for everything. That's what the movie is. Okay. And he got crucified too. If you're going to do stuff like that, expect to take a hit. And I'm sorry you're going to lose some money.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I love about the Kanye story is amongst all the various pages that surfaced, none made more than $25. I mean, you're serious? You really think that this multimillionaire that people are going to shell out, especially right now with inflation, which I'm sorry, I'm using a foreign term, with with things costing more for all of us, that they're really going to shell out money for this fucking asshole who just
inflation is not real. That is a Republican word.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, so that's
inflation's not real, but things are more expensive, gas, etc. Things that don't really matter. And that they're going to shell out their hard-earned money instead of, buying food for their kitchen table. Why do we say that, kitchen table? Most tables are like in the dining room, right? Anyway, why are they going to shell out money instead of putting food on their table? They're going to give it to this rich asshole who's worth $400 million, who, dissolved his marriage with a beautiful woman, arguably. I don't find her all that enticing, but most people think she's beautiful, and she's also wealthy. He trashed his own life for what? And then we're going to bail him out? That's not how America works.
I just want to thank Pete Davidson because he's the one who drove him into this. It's important to note, in 2016, West shared he was $53 million in debt on Twitter and was looking for Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg to step in by investing $1 billion to support his ideas. Mark Zuckerberg, invest $1 billion. This is Kanye. Invest $1 billion into Kanye West ideas. After realizing he is the greatest living artist and greatest artist of all time, West wrote, according to EI Online. He actually got another GoFundMe, and they raised $57,398.
Can you help me understand how you get $53 million in debt to Twitter? How does that work?
No, well, I think it's overall. I'm sure he's in hock to tons of people, tons of different corporations.
But I mean, how do you owe Twitter money? Like, I've been on Twitter for years and I don't owe them shit.
No, I'm sure it's not. Well, I think it's a poorly worded tweet, probably.
Oh, I see.
But he's saying that he was on Twitter and he said that. That's what he said.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Mark, give me $1 billion. Yeah.
I misunderstood. And listen,
people are willing to save him. Save me. I'm not nearly that far in debt, but okay. Hook a brother up.
We all need help, big time. I'm actually. I'll be honest. As an artist, I actually like Kanye. I like some of his songs. I think he's been brutally honest in most of his songs, even to the point of self-deprecation. He's certainly not the greatest artist ever, not even close, but I like his stuff. But then he goes and does stuff like this. And I caught myself this week because I have a couple of his songs on my workout playlist because they're, it's good hip hop. It keeps me moving. It keeps me. And the song came on and I literally sacrificed my heart rate to go and change the song and go to the next one. Just to say, fuck you. I don't want you getting the 5 cents off of Spotify because I listened to more than 10 seconds of your song. It's not going to happen. You're not getting any more of my money. Fuck off.
Hefe?
I wouldn't know his music if I heard it.
Yes, you would. you wouldn't know you did, but you would.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think he's relevant anymore. I honestly don't think he's relevant anymore. And to your point, Hefe, I haven't cared about anything that he's put out in years. He's a jerk off and he needs to go away. Yeah. And the fact that Pete Davidson slayed your wife says a great deal. I'm not even knocking Pete Davidson. I'm totally not. But you don't think the Holocaust ever happened, asshole? It did. You don't like Jews? Jewish people are here. Got to deal with them. You might not like everything in the world. If you're going to be a hater, lose sponsorships. Suck a big dick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the American way, man. And can you guys figure out why Pete Davidson's such a hot commodity? I know we talked about this on the show one other time. Why is he having sex with so many beautiful women? What's going on there?
He's a dirtbag. And there isn't, I think, personally speaking, I think that there is an air of the dirtbag brings with them a air of I don't give a fuck.
Okay, but the dude looks like, I mean, just looking at him, it looks like he's been on a 6-month bender on coke and meth, with a bourbon chaser.
You're really close. What it is these chicks, they think he's like part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They think he's on his last leg.
Well, then he's a fucking genius. Then I need to get on that.
Well, I haven't thought about that before. Yeah.
Look at the dark circles under his eyes. He looks unhealthy.
But he always looks like that, though. That
I know. That's what I'm saying. He looks like he's wearing eyeshadow, but he's not. He just has fucking jaundice or something.
He's doing Taco Bell commercials now.
I'm sorry for Taco Bell, and I hate Taco Bell, but I'm sorry for them.
But here's the thing, though. That Taco Bell commercial, you have to appreciate it because he's spouting off whatever he's spouting, and then the Taco Bell person behind the counter says something to him, and he looks back and he goes, "I never read. I don't even know what's on. I didn't read the script." And then and then the whole commercial ends, and that's his whole MO. He does not give a fuck.
I haven't heard the commercial. I've just seen it with no sound. So
yeah, you've got to watch. You got to watch it.
Okay, but
he also hangs out with Machine Gun Kelly, so there you go.
Well, yeah, so he's gonna get gunned down by Eminem if he hangs out with him too much. I don't give a fuck either, but apparently I don't give off the same air because Kim Kardashian literally, it's been 3 months since I've heard from that bitch. She will not call me back.
She will not return. Have you tried her Insta?
Yeah, I've tried Insta. I've tried Twitter. I've tried Phona. I've tried Texta. Nothing. She will not get back to me. She's such a bitch, man. I thought I had a chance.
Hey, Heidi Klum went as What? Wait, what? Go ahead.
Oh, you're breaking up bad, man. I think your satellite relay is not hooked up. Say again, Hefe. Say again.
Oh, you got me now?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. I was just saying, I'll tell her. When I see her later on, I'll tell her you're looking for her.
Oh, thank you. Please just put in the good word, man. I mean, even if it's just anal, I'm whatever. Just
okay. I'm inside now.
All right. All right. Enjoy the journey.
Inside Kim.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Can we
Good
talk
stuff.
about Heidi Klum real quick?
You know, I hate people that call her Heidi Klum.
What is it?
Yeah, me too. It's Heidi Klum.
It's Klum. Yeah.
It's Klum. But yeah, people say Klum. And I'm like, what? Are you in 3rd grade? Come on.
Yeah, it's good for a punchline, but
Okay, but we're bearing the lead. She dressed as an earthworm.
Okay, here's my I have a theory about this, but go ahead. I have a theory.
Heidi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Just hanging around or laying around?
You know, just laying around, just worming around, you know?
So what is it, like, you've done so many spectacular costumes. How did this one come about?
I don't know. I just wanted to be something random. I wanted to think outside of the box. And, you know, I thought a rainworm would be kind of fun. We all know worms, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone being a rainworm before.
Weird.
Okay, you guys ready for my theory?
Yeah, fuck yeah, please do.
I think this is actual proof. So her costume, she's like Superman. Her costume was being a super hot human. She actually is this giant alien earthworm. And she's like, fuck it. I'm not going to dress up this Halloween or for this red carpet event. I'm going to go as myself. And then everyone was like, oh my gosh, look, you're you're an earthworm. And she's like, well, joke's on you, asshole, because this is what we dress like on my planet.
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right,
man. Have a good night.
I just concentrate on her eyes and her mouth right now. Seriously, I mean, it's a fantastic
real
costume.
Yeah, it looks real. Yeah, and I mean, Jabba the Hutt. I mean, you've had some of these creatures. See, they just introduce these things in movies to get us used to the idea. And then Heidi Klum comes out and she's like, "Well, fuck it. I'm not gonna have legs tonight. I'm just gonna be my worm self." There's no other explanation. It looks way too real. She's way too calm about it. I mean, she has been in the top 10 most beautiful women probably for most of her life. And then she goes and does this. I don't know. It's fucking weird at the least. At the most, this is just, she's an absolute alien and she's admitting it.
All right. Let's go ahead and call it. Let's get to some cool shit and wrap things up, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we're bringing back cool shit. We haven't done that in a while. It might be because it's hard to find some cool shit from every now and again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things suck. But our dedication to you is going to be to go and kind of end the show with some really fucking rad shit that you're not going to find anywhere else. And I think it's important that we go and continue to do that. This week is from Northwestern University. So if you guys go on to northwestern.edu, go to show notes even if you want to. Dancing molecules successfully repair severe spinal cord injuries. Fitz, there was some awesome stuff that came out this week from spinal cord injuries. There was stuff that came out from cancer too, because there might be even a cancer vaccine that's going to be available, which is fucking phenomenal. I mean, that's amazing. Especially if it's a real vaccine and not like, we'll just make sure you don't get cancer really bad. But this struck me as unreal. Because not only is this something that is going to cure paralysis or has a potential to cure paralysis, I mean, you've got so many people that are paraplegics or, they've lost, the ability to feel anything below specific spinal cord injuries. It just really, it really touched me. I for whatever reason, it really hit home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. It's pretty powerful. And the reason it hit me so hard is, I won't get into too many specifics, but as you know, one of the facets of my job is I work in a program called reentry court. People that have been in prison and are on probation now. They're out of prison. They're on probation and they're trying to put their lives back together. And for those of you who don't know, it's extremely overwhelming. They have many facets of their life they're trying to help put back together. And for any of us to do it on our own would be overwhelming. So they need some help. So I'm part of the team that helps them get back on their feet. One of the individuals, and I can't use names because it's really a very sensitive case, but one of the individuals got out of prison. To celebrate getting out of prison, he and a bunch of buddies went out to the dunes and did some ATV riding, and he flipped his ATV and broke his back. Freak accident. And he's paralyzed from basically the diaphragm down. So he's his arms work, his head works, but legs are gone. So when I saw this article and knowing everything that he's been through, from having to move from his apartment because he was on a second story and they didn't have, any elevators or anything. It was all stairs because it was built before ADA was a thing. He had to move his house. They were giving him shit about that. They were gonna charge him more rent for it was just a whole thing. And he's every step of the way has been a struggle. So to see something like this, and that there might be hope that with a fucking shot in your spine, you might be able to walk again and get your life back. Very athletic guy. He was an MMA fighter before he went into prison. So he's very, very in shape, very athletic, strong, big guy. And to have all that taken away was just, it's been a lot. He actually attempted suicide and was saved, by the hair of his chinny chin. And so the fact that there could be hope again, that would just be amazing. So yeah, I hope this is real. And by real, I mean, I know it's real because there's an article written, but real that it's going to help a lot of people. It's really encouraging, really encouraging.
Northwestern University researchers have developed a new injectable therapy that harnesses dancing molecules to reverse paralysis and repair tissue after severe spinal cord injuries. In a new study, researchers administered a single injection to tissues surrounding the spinal cords of paralyzed mice. Just 4 weeks later, the animals regained the ability to walk. 5 key developments. By sending bioactive signals to trigger cells to repair and regenerate, the breakthrough therapy dramatically improved severely injured spinal cords in 5 key ways. The severed extensions of neurons, called axons, regenerated. Huge step.
Yeah.
Scar tissue, and this part probably this blew me away. Scar tissue, which can create a physical barrier to regeneration and repair, significantly diminished. So we're actually getting rid of scar tissue. Think about the implications there, just even past this.
Yeah.
Myelin, the insulating layer of axons that is important to transmitting electrical signals efficiently, reformed around cells. So you've got cell regeneration. Functional blood vessels formed to deliver nutrients to cells at the injury site. More motor neurons survived. This, out of everything this week, actually gave me a little bit of hope. And I dug it so much.
Yeah.
It's like so, I mean, it's so far out still. But when you look at the video that went along with it.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
It's pretty remarkable, and it's powerful shit. I mean, I want to think that the mice that were involved, the ones that couldn't move their back legs, were the same ones that were moving their back legs afterwards. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The myelin aspect of this is really, I actually talk about myelin a lot in my martial arts classes, because what most people don't know is 80% of your measurable strength, in other words, the amount of force that you can deliver or the amount of weight that you can pick up, 80% of that is determined by the thickness of the myelin sheath around your nerves. The thinner the sheath, the more energy loss, the more signal you lose between the brain and the muscle, and the weaker the muscle gets. The thicker the sheath, just like a wire in your home, if you have a really thick sheath around a thin wire, that wire can still handle a lot of current. But if you have a thin sheath, the current goes down because it'll catch fire, and you lose so much energy to dissipation. So, so much of what we do in muscle memory and what we call body karma is building up that myelin sheath. I never wanted to be big muscularly, but I wanted to be strong. And people always say how strong I am for my size. That I have good myelin sheaths around my nerve endings. So that alone, just that one little piece there of everything in this article, to me was very interesting, because if it works for somebody to repair what's been damaged, what could it do for a healthy person? Right. And increasing their myelin sheath to increase strength and efficiency of the muscles, so you don't have to be this, meathead, but still be able to bench, 350 pounds or squat 500. I don't know. The implications of this are vast. They're exciting. And of course, it should be given to people who are in trouble first. But if they have good effects on humans, then why not the rest of us? Why not all of us sort of really get rid of this paradigm of feeling like we have to work out 6 days a week and weigh 300 pounds before we're strong, and just make these bodies really efficient. So yeah, very exciting stuff. I found this article fascinating. I get into all the sciencey shit anyway, you know that. So when you sent this, I mean, it was just like a deep dive for me. It was really great.
So we're going to get into a lot more cool shit. We're going to go ahead and get it into the show. Obviously, we're also going to get on the Twitter feed and also on the Flipboard. Definitely check out Whiskey Hell podcast on Flipboard, because all of our shows, all of our content's going to be on there.
Yes. Yeah.
You're actually going to get not only our content, but anything we actually put on Twitter too. So if there's banter going on, you're going to get that also. So
yeah.
Go check it out. You got the show that's going to post there. That's really going to be a super hub for us. At whiskey_hell is a fantastic site too, because anything that we find on Flipboard is going to go out pretty much to Twitter too.
Yeah.
So you guys follow it, check it out. We're going to make sure that the cool shit's going to be out there. It's not always going to be something like as heavy as this, which I think this is pretty heavy. I think this is pretty fucking badass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I've got a cool shit too that's kind of on the other end of that. It's not heavy. But it's definitely worth mentioning. And my cool shit this week is the new show on Prime called The Peripheral.
Let's get into The Peripheral, because I'm caught up on it. So yeah, please.
Okay.
Do.
Yeah, no, and we don't have to spend long on it. In fact, I don't want to one thing I don't want to do is any sort of spoilers, because we're still in the season. We don't know where it's going yet. But the Peripheral, first of all, it's a really beautifully done show. It's a really well done show. The casting's great. The cinematography's great. You can tell they put some money in this. The directing has been really good. Chloe Moretz is in it. I've been following her career since Kick-Ass. She was the little girl in Kick-Ass. Well, she's all grown up now, guys, and she's fucking beautiful. I mean, almost to the point where you go, okay, you're too pretty. Like, I can't really look at you anymore because your cheekbones are perfect, your eyes are perfect, your mouth is perfect. Stop it. But she's all grown up. She's playing this role. She's got a kind of a Southern twang accent. And this takes place in the future, just a little bit. Well, actually a little bit and then a lot. And it's sort of, you got some Matrix elements in there, because you kind of plug into this machine. You've got some Terminator aspects because there's some parts that take place in the future. There's just all kinds of exciting new takes on some sci-fi stuff that's going on here. And then on top of it, you also have her older brother, again, no spoiler alerts, but her older brother who he's ex-military, and all of his buddies were all part of his platoon, and they're a bunch of fucking badasses. And you get to see that in a couple of the episodes, which is also really cool. So you have a lot of really kind of weird, strange elements all coming together in this show. And I just find the characters really they just grab you. I mean, she's intoxicating, first of all. I mean, there's nothing sexy about her character. And yet I every time she's on screen, I just can't stop. I mean, she is just gorgeous. And the way she's talking, the way she's thinking, she's a badass when she gets in this machine. When she puts the thing on her head, she's like a savant. And so that's also cool. But even, all the people surrounding this story are just really interesting, deep characters. You want to know more. And so we're in the middle of the season here. It's not going to go on forever, but I feel like they kind of hit a home run here. It's really good. So what was your take on it? What do you think?
I enjoyed it. I think I want to get what the actual backstory is from the brother. That's the Jack Rayner character. I want to get because they have all like implants, his whole all of his buddies that apparently were like right from that area. They all hang out in the same town. I like how they kind of came together against that first team that tried to take over the camp or tried to take over the homestead. I guess that's what it was.
Right.
I thought that was cool. I like the whole drone aspect. I like the high techness of it. I don't know where it's actually going to end up going. My favorite character is probably the dude that has one arm, no legs.
Oh yeah.
Only one arm. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
He's fucking great, but it's interesting. I don't know who's good, who's bad. I don't even know if there is a good and bad at this point.
I liked that too.
We're only 4 episodes in, so who knows?
Yeah. They blurred that line pretty good because it's things are being done for money. And so at some point you can kind of feel this crescendo coming where it's going to be done for like moral reasons, for ethics, but right now things are just being done for money. People are being paid off, people are being paid to do a certain job, and then I'm out. But you can just feel that it's mounting where someone's going to say, wait a minute. This isn't about the money. This is about like we need to save people here.
Are you through episode 4?
We're through episode 5.
Okay, okay, all right. I might need to see 5. I know I've seen at least 4.
Yeah.
I might not have gotten 5 yet. I didn't get the money aspect of it. I got the control aspect of it for
sure. Yeah.
I didn't get a real heavy money aspect of it. But I thought the scene that was in the what do you call it? The not funeral home, the graveyard, the historic grounds or whatever they called it, which was weird. That told me so much about where this was going because it was very much built on a pandemic.
Yep.
Tech control. Civilization falling.
Yep.
Absolute chaos. I mean, it was everything that we're experiencing. It was very well rounded in that respect.
Right. Yes. No, I guess the money aspect, what I'm talking about is the reason that she and her brother even got into this is because there was a huge payday promised. And then you have and then you have the futuristic people, the people in the future who are paying off hitmen to come and end them. And then
money
you have
doesn't matter.
Right.
Money doesn't matter to them, right? I mean, it's funny money.
But you have the people in the present, or where the show takes present, the drug dealer who, I mean, he is about money. He's being paid off $250,000 a week. So that's what I'm saying. Like, things are being done for money. And so you're willing to, okay, let's see where this goes. But no, I agree with you. I think where we're headed is like a true battle for people's lives and the pandemic aspect, the energy consumption and the technology that's happening in the future and all that is part of it too. So yeah.
No, let's circle back to that each week. We'll do a little peripheral drop. For me, that's kind of that's the one that's kind of out there right now. Do you have HBO Max?
No, we're thinking about doing the whole 30-day trial thing, watch it for 30 days and then cancel it.
All right.
Because there's some really good shows on there that we've heard a lot about and we want to get to them. So.
All right. So if you end up doing that though, let me know, because there's several series that we should deep dive on. And honestly, it's a whole different kind of podcast. So I think we should think about that. I wouldn't hesitate to do that, but it would be interesting.
I think we could do a whole deep dive on just Westworld alone, because we did watch Westworld.
Yeah.
God, what a great series. And I don't think I've ever had a show that uses nudity as a weapon. And what I mean by that is you have these android, these robots that are perfectly anatomically human. I mean, they're designed to give other humans pleasure, but they're robots on the inside. and they'll just show them like sitting, in a dormant position, completely nude. And so, yes, there's this beautiful woman sitting there with completely bared, completely naked. And yet you're talking about some heavy shit, her programming and how she's becoming sentient and what she remembers from her past. The nudity is there as like this thing to be like, hey, you can be distracted by a pair of tits, or you can listen to what this thing is saying because it's awake. And that to me was just fascinating. So we could definitely get into Westworld and where that's going, because it's fucking scary and awesome. But I know there's some other series on there too, and especially like House of the Dragon and stuff like that. We have not seen one episode of that, and I've heard it's great. So yeah, that'll probably happen here around Christmas. We'll go ahead and get HBO Max, and then we can put on another, side podcast.
I would like that. Because there's a lot of shows out there to deep dive on. And honestly, HBO Max, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. You got Netflix as far as, oh God, what was the anime one that was kind of anime, but steampunk?
Arcane?
Yeah, Arcane's got to be coming out again.
Yep. Well, Big Mouth season 5 or 6, or I think it's season 6 just dropped.
It's fucking fantastic, by the way.
It's way more terrible than it's ever been, and it's so good. It's so funny.
And they're not retreading anything.
No, they're not. It's all brand new, and it's awesome that you went and saw John Mulaney too, because now all I can, when I hear his character's voice, I'm like, all I'm seeing is him, and yet it's not him. It's this teenage boy, going through the trials of, teenagehood.
All right, Fitz.
Yeah.
Which beer are you taking to bed?
Oh, yeah. Jesus. All right. Last call. Lights come on. You're dancing with two broads that you thought might have been at least 6s. And then the lights come on and they're both 2s. I'm going to take home the 2.5, which was the Dark Matter by Block 15. I'll take that one over the Boulevard Brewing. It was just too much of everything. The Dark Matter, at least it was only a 5%, so you could have a 2, 3, 4 of these and at least enjoy the evening. It wasn't assaulting like the other one was. So how about you? What are you taking to bed?
I get a threesome tonight.
Oh, hey-o.
I'm calling down it. I'm calling a thunder on that one, because here's the thing. I have a perfect old ale. I'm gonna call it perfect. For me, it's perfect. I'm just gonna leave it out there.
Yeah.
Clown Shears, Flight to Bolivia, and I get Sing Along Deathmatch from Jester King. And quite honestly, it is the absolute best farmhouse ale I've had. Both beers were so well balanced and so perfect in their execution that I could not ask for anything more. I can't do it. There's just, I can't do it.
I love that, dude. I love that. And I guess, honestly, you were due. You've had a run where you might have enjoyed one beer, but not both. And for you to have the threesome, complete the triad tonight, that's just awesome. Yeah, good for you.
All right, we are going to wind up the show. We appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much for doing it. It's why we do it every week. If you guys have feedback, please send it to us. whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. That's the email address. Whiskey_hell is going to be the Twitter feed. Check us out. We appreciate you guys listening, the feedback, everything we've gotten tonight, the polls, the ridiculous comments on different stories, all that seriously helps drive us. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for engaging. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz, and don't forget to tune in next week because we got the elections this week. It's going to be a really fascinating time in our history, I believe. So tune in next week. We're going to have some really good stories for you and some more entertainment. So have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
That will do it for this week's show. Shocking how long they last each week. Remember to leave a review, and thanks for listening.